I just finished watching the scene where Joel tries to help Ellie in the bar when they're dancing. Man, I'm not even bullshitting you guys. I hadn't seen the scene fully in a minute, so I was just sitting there watching it to make this video here. And man, it made me sad. It made me almost choke up, to be quite honest with you. And the meat of the scene, where the good stuff is the interaction between Ellie and Joel. You see Joel. Well, I guess let's track back a little bit. Ellie is watching at the bar as Dina dances. She starts talking to Jesse, and Jesse starts telling her something like, hey, I was talking to your old man, and he gets very involved, very protective whenever you're going out in patrol. So he wants to know where you go, where you don't go, and things like that. So it sets the tone. It sets the tone of something that is going on that everybody knows, but we never hear. We never specifically hear Ellie call Joel dad. And we never specifically hear Joel call Ellie his daughter. We don't necessarily need to hear it. When I played this the first time, I wanted her or him to acknowledge each other as that, but that relationship was already so fatherly and daughter-like that it didn't need to be said, and everybody around them already kind of knew what they were. That's why Jesse says your old man, and I thought that was very nice, and it set the scene up for what was to come later. I mean, you have these feelings. When I play The Last of Us Part 2, no matter what, to me The Last of Us game is always a story between Joel and Ellie, but mainly it's always has felt to me as Joel's story as well. He was the one who began it. It was his world, and you as the character player, you play as him and you get involved with him and you basically become him. Why do we like Arthur Morgan so much, or Kratos, or Joel, or any other protagonist out there that is really cool and strong? Because you put yourself in their shoes. When you're playing as Arthur Morgan, you feel like you're Arthur, and you feel his journey from how he used to be to redemption and then death. And with Joel, you feel his journey of sadness, of grief, of loss, until he finally finds something again, but then you die. The only difference was that we weren't controlling Joel when he died, and it makes it that much more brutal and sad. And so when I get to this point and I'm watching this scene play out, when I watched it the very first time, I was filled with anger, but anger and some sadness, because I couldn't believe what happened afterwards. Ellie is with Dina and they kiss, and then this guy comes and starts telling them that they shouldn't do that. And then he says, just what this town needs, another loud mouth dyke. And Joel hears that, and Joel instantly goes into like father mode, obviously like any of us would, right? We would have done that in The Last of Us Part 1, and now we didn't want anybody talking like that to Ellie, because we still view Ellie as like our daughter. Is that connection is there as the player character. So Joel races in there, pushes him, to try to protect Ellie, because that's all he knows. Why wouldn't he want to protect her? He's protected her from so many other fucking things. Why wouldn't he protect her from some dumbass that's drunk at a bar or something like that? He just wants her to be safe. And so after he protects her, Tommy and Maria take him away, and Joel turns around like he's not even looking anywhere. He doesn't care if people saw him. He doesn't care about anything. His eyes are locked on Ellie, and he turns around and he says, hey, you okay, kiddo? And that shit, man, like that shit pulls on something for me. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think it's because I view Joel as like, Joel to me is he's one or two my favorite characters of all time. I say this to you guys all the time. It's between him and Arthur Morgan. But Joel Miller, there's something about him that I really, really love. That character, man. I love that character. And when he said that, Ellie says, I don't need your fucking help, Joel. That shit, when I heard it the very first time, the anger that I felt, I said, man, Ellie, we've been through all this shit, everything that's happened, and that's how you treat me? Like, that's how you treat Joel? Man, fuck that, man. Fuck that. I couldn't believe it. It broke me like in an emotional way. It felt like something broke. And then you see Joel look around. Like, I don't know, he looks uncomfortable. He looks lost. He looks sad. He looks really, really sad. Now imagine to the fathers out there, you have a daughter and something like that happens. Obviously, Joel didn't feel any hate towards her. Obviously, Joel didn't want to beat her up or whoop her or tell her, fuck you, Ellie, we did all this and this is how you treat me. No, he just felt so much sadness in that moment. Disappointment, maybe not in Ellie, but maybe in himself, just for some of the decisions that he took, or maybe for not telling her from the beginning what happened. Did he regret it? Maybe not, but he just felt sad and disappointed. And so then you see Joel turn around and walk away, and Ellie just, her face goes from like pure rage and anger to like, oh shit, like she saw the disappointment in Joel. She saw the sadness in him. And I think in that moment she realized, was it all worth it? Was these past 2 years worth it? Like me being mean to him, me giving him the cold shoulder, me not enjoying the time that we have in this crazy, chaotic, dark world. Instead of enjoying my time with Joel, who was the only father figure that I've ever really known, I'm treating him like shit. And in that moment, she realized that, hey, maybe I can't forgive him for what he did, but I can try. And that's why she went to go find him later on, and we get the final scene of them together. But the scene at the ballroom where they're dancing, or the bar where they're dancing, it hit me right in the feels. And that's a scene that I think tells a million stories because of the history between Joel and Ellie, because of the history between Joel, Ellie, and us, the player character. I don't know. I view it also a little bit different now, guys, because I haven't said this to anybody besides my wife, obviously, and my immediate family. But my wife was pregnant finally this year. And or like in December, November, I guess, I suppose, she had gotten pregnant, and we had been trying for her to be pregnant for so many 2 years now, and for one reason or another, we've been to doctors, we've been trying to figure out, like, why can't we, and then she finally was pregnant. It was like a miracle type thing for us. And she had a miscarriage, and the miscarriage it sent me down a really dark place, and I did some bullshit, and I just felt so sad. But the point of that is to connect to this video is that I wanted to be a father so bad, and I've wanted to be a dad for a really, really long time. I don't know. I've always had a connection towards just these fatherly figures that, they do anything for their children and these things and that. And, I think one of the reasons that I connect so much with Joel is because of that. I mean, like, when I first played it, I wasn't a dad. I wasn't nowhere near being married or anything, but I felt a connection towards Ellie and to Joel and towards his daughter Sarah. And like, I was like, this is terrible. Like, I could never imagine this happening. And as I get older, I play these games and these things, and then with my wife finally getting pregnant and us having that miscarriage, it shattered something inside me that I felt like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I think that a connection between a father and a son or a daughter, I've yet to experience it, obviously, because I don't have any other kids besides that one there that we lost. But I feel like if I was a dad and something like that happened between me and my daughter, where she tells me, hey, I don't need your fucking help, I think that shit would, I think I would feel maybe what Joel felt, just disappointment and sadness, because you want to help. I want to help. I don't think I'd ever be like, oh, well, you know what, fuck that, then fuck you then, daughter. Like, I don't think I'd ever say that. I think I'd want to help her. And right now I watched the scene, and I don't know, it just, you put the connections of the history between Joel and Ellie, and then you put the connection between my own personal real life history and my loss and the other things that happened. The scenes are just more powerful, especially those scenes that have the meat of being a daughter, of being a father, and their connection. And it hit me, man. And that's what I mean sometimes when I talk about The Last of Us being the most emotional game that I've maybe ever played. A game of sadness, a game of pure emotion. The Last of Us Part 2, although it's not my favorite game, although I don't like some of the things, it does the one thing that it needs to do. It pisses you off. It makes you rageful. It makes you want revenge. It makes you want to feel something. You feel emotion if you don't feel anything else, whether it's good emotion, bad emotion, hopeful emotion, whatever you get from the game, you get some emotion. And that scene between Joel and Ellie was probably the most heartbreaking scene in the entire series. And it was a turning point for Ellie, and it was a turning point for Joel, because that interaction led them to try to work on improving their relationship again. And sadly, it was robbed of them. Just a day later, Joel would be gone. And it makes it that much more sad. It makes it that much more emotional. And it makes it carry that much more weight.
You all right, kiddo?
What is wrong with you?
He had no right.
And you do? I don't need your fucking help, Joel.